So it was like 2011 when I was in middle school, and I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I mean, not surprising. I I was very lonely, but I did manage to make like one or two friends, and the only things we had in common was anime. And one of those friends turned into my boyfriend. It was fine. It was just we nothing really happened. It was just like, the middle school crush type deal, boyfriend thing. And we really wanted to go to a convention. We had never been to one at the time, and we were like, oh my god, conventions? We want to go! But we were kids. We didn't know what we were doing. So we had to basically look up how the hell do you go to a con? And we found one. It went pretty good. We basically Googled anime conventions in Georgia. And luckily, one had come up that was coming up pretty soon. And it was Anime Week in Atlanta. A pretty small con. Here in Georgia, we don't really have big cons other than Dragon Con, which is our biggest one. But that's usually a all-around thing and not just an anime convention. And we just wanted to go to an anime convention just to be there. But yeah, we found one and we were like, let's go to that. But then we realized, oh wait, we're minors. We need parents. We basically just said, alright, let's go. Let's try to get our parents involved. But his family, he managed to convince his family. It wasn't much to convince my mother to take me. You know, when you go to a convention, right? There's certain steps you have to take to go to one. You have to set up your registration. You have to book your hotels. You have to figure out how you're going to get there. All that good stuff. We didn't do that. We basically just went in the car and went. We didn't plan anything. It was definitely a first con. But we got there, we registered, everything went fine. We were only staying for 2 days because, again, it was not a lot of planning went into it. So much so that we literally did not have anywhere to stay at all. I thought we were going to be staying in the car, honestly. I could have stayed in the car, but my mother just wanted to stay somewhere, and none of the hotels were open. We drove for literally like 30 minutes away from the main venue. We drove 30 minutes, stopping at like every single hotel we could find, and they were all booked out. And then we found a motel. Yeah, the motel wasn't too bad. It did have a lot of cockroaches, which I was horrifyingly disgusted about that. But it had a bed. It even had a microwave. Come on, it's really awesome. My peak is the microwave. It did also have a TV, but it was really small. And it smelled like cigarettes. And the walls were like kind of yellow and crusty. We did go to a panel though. The panel was, I think it was just the Funimation panel. And we sat there and they showed a bunch of blooper reels and stuff of the recordings. And I thought it was the funniest thing ever. The artist alley was really big. Like, it was like a half of a warehouse style big. It was just a giant floor with booths upon booths upon booths of artists. They were selling they were selling figures, weapons, normal convention. Art. I got a wooden sword in a Naruto headband because I'm that cool. It was just a wooden katana. It was a wooden katana. It has no value of it at all. It's really dingy, but I really wanted a weapon. I wasn't allowed one, so we decided to get a wooden katana. The funniest thing that happened, oh my god, okay, so the funniest thing that happened was we went to a maid cafe. My boyfriend at the time and his family and my mom and me went to a maid cafe. It wasn't like a big maid cafe. I mean, looking back now, there was probably some some people that were eyeing the maids a little too much. But we we got our food, right? I think we ordered sushi and ramen. And it comes out, and you know on sushi how they give you wasabi on the side? My mother looks at the wasabi and she goes, "What's that?" Me me and my boyfriend, we look at each other and we go, "I don't know. You should try it." She's like, "Okay." She takes a giant spoonful, puts it in her mouth, and then she screams out like she's in pain, and me and my boyfriend at the time are laughing, and my boyfriend's mom is so concerned because she doesn't know what wasabi is either, so she's concerned like, oh my god, something's happening, and my mother is just crying, screaming. She has like, we start giving her like water and stuff. Maids are coming over to help. It was just a whole fiasco. Oh, another funny thing is my boyfriend's little brother dressed up as Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. We went into the artist alley, and it was just the three of us walking around, and I was looking at some of the art and then noticed that he had gone, like he was missing, and he was little at the time, so I was freaking out. I was like, oh no, where did the child go? I quickly like back up, do a double take, and I see him standing in front of like this group of Team Rocket cosplayers, and they're like the women cosplayers. They were like tight mini skirts, like the whole 9 yards, and they were just like looking down at him being like, you're so cute, you want to take a picture with us? And he was like, yes please. So he was just surrounded by all of these like women just like smiling and stuff, and I'm just like, wow. He kept getting stopped too. He was the only one who dressed up as someone. I didn't dress up as anything. I was like wearing just a hoodie and a Naruto headband. My boyfriend at the time, he was dressed as some obscure character that I've never heard of. And then the little Ash Ketchum running around got the most photos, got the most stops, got the most everything. A lot of hot women around him. So those are probably the funniest things that happened. The scariest thing that happened. Oh, the scariest thing that happened was I thought I was lost. I got lost at an anime convention. So basically, the convention floor was really big and very like wide and like vast. And there was like a ton of people walking all around. And I was like trying to make sure I was with my group at all times because I am a wanderer. I love to wander. But when something caught my attention, I vanished from the group. It is my fault, but you know, when you see something, you gotta go see it. So they had a manga library where you could check out books and read them for like free. It was great. And I stayed in there for a couple hours and no one knew where I was. After I got done, I walked out and I was like, wait, where are my people? Uh-oh. Yeah, I had just realized that I was lost, and I did not have a phone at the time. I was not old enough for a phone. So I basically ran around the con trying to find my parents and my group. It took me about an hour to find them. I needed an adult. I did not have an adult, but it took an hour to find them, and I finally found them, but it was very terrifying. Yeah, spending an entire hour in a manga library and then trying to find your group in a sea of cosplayers. Like, I was like, move, Miku, get out the way, I'm trying to find my people. And other than the motel thing, which was very terrifying, that was probably the scariest thing that happened. My favorite thing that happened was probably just, this is gonna sound weird, but just arriving at the venue was probably my favorite thing. I know it sounds weird, but just, I'm gonna take you into my mind zone, into my mind palace, into my memory banks, and I'm going to tell you why this was such a just beautiful moment. Imagine You've been driving in a car for 2 hours, right? You're driving, you're riding, you're bored out of your mind. You don't have a phone yet. Phones aren't really a thing right now. I couldn't sleep. I was so excited. I was just you ever been so excited you can't just sleep? You can't just stop thinking about what's going to happen. I was so excited. I was just staring at the window all the time until we got into the big city. Then I just kept waiting and waiting and waiting until I shit you not, I saw a Cloud cosplayer walking down the street. And my eyes lit up at that moment when I saw that Cloud cosplayer walking down the street. And then there was a Miku. And then there was, I want to say there was a Sephiroth. And then like a bunch of different cosplayers just walking down the street to the venue. And I thought that was the coolest thing. Just seeing people just cosplay in the street. Like, I had never seen cosplay in person ever in my life. I didn't even like realize cosplay was actually like a real thing. I just thought like these people were paid to dress up. But no, these are just people dressing up as their favorite character, walking down the street. And it just blew my mind. And then walking into the venue, seeing like a sea of cosplayers just walking around, talking to each other, posing for pictures. It was mind-blowing. Like my little wee brain could not comprehend how cool this was. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Also, I had boba for the first time, and it was the best experience of my entire life. It was like a coffee boba. It was like a coffee drink, right? And I was like, oh, it's just a coffee. And then I slurped it, and a ball went into my mouth. And I was like, what is this? I chewed it, and it was the best thing I ever had. And then I was like, what is this? I need more. They were like $5 for them. And I just like kept going back. I think I had at least 5 bobas. I just kept going back and going back and drinking them and going back, drinking them, going back. I loved them. And now I love boba. Oh, leaving the con, it was so sad. I had never felt, there was this magical thing called con depression. I had never felt con depression before. But it sucked. I did not want to leave. I really didn't. I was like trying to milk it for as long as I can. Like, oh, well, we missed this thing. Or, oh, we didn't go check out that panel. Or, oh, we didn't get to try this or that. But no, it was like, no, we're leaving. We're going now. And I felt so sad. I didn't want to leave. Like, I felt so happy being surrounded by all these nerds, weebs, all this stuff that I fell in love with. And I had to leave it all behind to go back to my mundane life, and I hated it. So yeah, that was my con experience. It was good, all in all, and I would definitely do it again 1000%. So yeah, hope you liked the video.